I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Dijon. LeBeau. Here. Messina.
Here.
Moak.
Here.
Washington.
Here.
We have 4 present.
I'd like to open the meeting up with a small reason why we're doing this. One of the things that stated at our last council meeting, that this is a very important ordinance. It's one of the largest ordinances that we've ever really looked at in whole. And this is going to control growth. It's going to look at the safety of this city. But most of all, I wanted something that the people were going to be happy with. And I think we're all on the right track for accomplishing all this.
The biggest thing I got involved for was because of the school enrollments. And I saw a big crisis happening there. I got the things, I believe y'all had Neil Schaefer to do, showed the population growth, student growth, and all like that. So I went to the 2017 and I added up the student growth. Come up to a number. I went to David, I said, is this what we're supposed to have in 2017? He said, yeah. I think we were 12 already over in 2013. We 12 over. So if the school is that far up, your traffic and your population is that far up. I see a big need for this. We want it to be correct. I will give it to the city. We have a mechanism in place to control our growth. We've got to use it. Total thing here, I think it helps the city. It reinforces what you got. And I think it'll help a developer because he can look, they got a calculation sheet, he can go and look and put it on there. And this is what you're going to do. If you're in the R1, this is what you can have. There's no loosening up. Changing this, can I put this many houses or what? It pretty well tells you what you can do. And I think any developer would want to know if he's buying a piece of property, what can I put on it? So I think it helps the developer. I think it helps the school, it helps, and people driving around out here, the population growth. And I think some people don't believe we have a population growth problem. I do.
I think that the density calculator, which is on the last page, that's going to, I think, address some concerns that if you follow what this density calculator tells you by, taking out the wetlands, the detention pond, the street right away, all that, and giving you that net density, it helps us get a more quality development. And you do have some rules that they can still apply, and if they're meeting that, then it should meet the code requirements, and it should be approved.
There's a little variation in a density calculator based on amenities. You can reduce that a little bit, not a whole lot. I don't know the percentage right offhand, but you can go a little less than the minimum lot requirements, but it's not to the next zoning district.
That's what you're giving them. You're letting them increase their density.
And a bonus for amenities.
For a bonus for them giving you a park, green space, and all kind of.
It costs developers to add those extra amenities, so it's just for us to compensate that for extra density.
I know it's going to change, but you're going to start out with the basic, what's 1, 2, and 3, and those little things give you a little extra stuff. It's not much.
Right.
I think what it'll let you do is it'll let you go in and you start getting some extra acres and things. It might give you another lot or two.
Correct.
If you give so many more acres here, you're going to gain maybe a house or two. They don't gain much on that.
Yeah.
Wayne Messina has the floor.
Okay. I want to go back to an earlier comment and just make a statement. Let's say that you've got an area that's zoned and you have all of the regulations. And let's say that most that a contractor or a developer could put in their houses-wise would be, we'll make up a figure, 32 houses. Okay? and they go spend the $10,000 and whatever, and they go to the planning and zoning, and they want to build a subdivision with 49 houses, knowing that the regulations, the zoning, calls for X number of houses. The way I see that, that's not planning and zoning's fault, that developer or that contractor put that money out, or the city council. It's not those two groups' fault. And so if I'm a developer and I want to take that chance and I want to spend that money, then I do it. And if it's rejected, well, then I knew going in what the regulations were. And I'm just saying this for myself. I think that's where sometimes that we get a bum rap that we're not being fair with some developers or contractors, whatever the case may be, when I don't see it that way. I just don't. You know, they come in, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this. When it clearly states that the available usable land, they can only develop 32 houses. And they come and they present to us, planning and zoning and council, for 49 houses or 52 houses.
Can a PUD have it can be more dense than the underlying R1 zoning?
Very little.
Very little. That's where the zoning density calculator comes in,
Okay,
and you
so
can plug in some numbers, and if you give more amenities than what's required, you can get a density bonus, but it's also in the formula that your percentage of the lot that you shrink cannot exceed a certain amount. So it's only a very small amount would you be able to change the lot size.
But as Will has said in the past, I've heard him say, we're one big apartment complex from busting our school system and really overcrowding it. And so this document is essential.
We talk about Central busting the school system open. I've never heard anyone say that Central school system goes outside of Central. If anyone, I'm just asking a question, if anyone talked to the councilman that's outside of Central school system, and what are they doing? Ms. Kim, ladies first.
I think there's some fear when we say moratorium that we're going to run the developers off.
They'll be back.
Yes, people are dying to get in Central. I mean, that's why we have overcrowding of school, because as much, as many problems as we have, people still do not want to be in East Baton Rouge.
You know, and I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, you know, the biggest thing that concerns me about the city of Central is that my kids are not going to be able to go to school here by the time they get ready to graduate, because the schools are going to be overrun and overcrowded. You know, who knows what comes with that population growth. Right now, we've got some of the best schools, definitely the best schools in the state, probably in the nation. So every time we do something for the school, I tell her, we need to make a donation to the private school as well, because one day we may very well need it if we don't control the population and the growth in Central, so we can control our schools and have good schools for our kids. Because when we have 50 or 60 students crammed in the classrooms that we've got right now, or 15 or 20, they're not going to get the quality education they get. So some of the ways we do it, I'm loving what I'm hearing about controlling the growth. And I think another good thing that we should consider as part of the conversation is the track builders. You know, like we have a couple of, you know, in the city now. That's what overran Delta Springs. There's no doubt. They advertise on their website, from the time the slab is cured, 30 days till you move in. Now they can build houses so fast, there is no way our schools can keep up with that. If you approve a 300-unit development, they're going to have 4 or 5 crews working in there. Within a year to 18 months, you're going to have all 300 of those homes occupied.
I'm saying it needs to be controlled and everybody on the same playing field.
I guess to me, that's what we need to figure out.
I think when a developer goes back here and he looks at this back sheet and he fills it out, he knows how many lots he can put in there, homes he can put in there, and that's it. That's why I think this is so good.
Okay.